I have been playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition 24/7. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. So I started looking for books similar to Mass Effect. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a sci-fi RPG game. They recently released a remastered version of all three games. There's a fourth game, but we don't talk about it. Anyway, in the game, you're sort of a special ops unit. You have your own ship and you have a crew and you're defending the galaxy against these ancient alien threats. The choices you made in every game carries over to the next game. So if one of your crew members die, this is it. You can also romance characters and you can romance the same character in every game and they will remember. It's great. The universe is huge with lots of different sentient alien species. It feels like there should be many books like this, but I actually had a difficult time. There are books that are military sci-fi, so you get the ship and the crew, but the characters aren't fun. There are series like The Expanse, but I don't think there are any alien species until much later. But here comes Shards of Earth by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is actually the first book I read by Adrian Tchaikovsky. He has another very popular series called The Children of Time, and everyone loves it. And I know it's supposed to be good, but the premise just sounds so silly. I can't bring myself to read it. This one, though, is great. So Earth is destroyed. Just like that, there appears a super mysterious species called the Architects, and they visit planets with sentient organisms and basically turn the planets into abstract art. Humans run away into colonies. One group that separates creates this organization of female warriors, similar to the Amazon warriors. They're called the Partheni. They have super advanced weapons and training, and one of our main characters is a Parthenon agent. Her name is Solus. Humans also discover that they can train certain individuals in certain psychic powers, I guess, to fight the Architects. They're called intermediaries, and one of those people, Idris, was able to make contact with an architect, and as soon as he contacts the architect, they just leave and they're gone just like that. Another thing the intermediaries can do is deep space travel. To travel great distances, these intermediaries can make the ship go into what's called unspace. Regular people go insane there, so they go into their sleeping pods. The idea is a bit similar to Dune's navigators, I guess. But yeah, years pass and suddenly maybe the Architects are back. So our crew goes on a mission to figure it out. I am simplifying because I don't want to spoil how the crew comes together. There are a lot of events in between, but it checks all the boxes I've been looking for. There are lots of sentient alien species. Some are crew members. There's an ancient alien threat. There is the special ops agent. There are people with special powers. The characters are fun and interesting. They're not boring military characters. If you played Mass Effect, I hate Zaid. He is like the military veteran character. I have no interest in that. There is a bit of romance too. The world building is great. There is also another mysterious species, and they're like, listen, we can protect you from the Architects if you just join us. Just pledge fealty to us and you'll be fine. I'm saying it like this, but they are super weird and very difficult to communicate with. So that's another part of the world building. Honestly, one problem I have is I just can't visualize a lot of these aliens. I hope people start creating some fan art so I can check them out. But it is partially because of the writing style. The writing style is sometimes, I don't want to say redundant, but it just dumps too much info. Like, you see an alien for the first time and the book describes them all over, then describes the next alien, then the next one, and I already forgot the first one. And I'm kind of taken out of the story too. I think descriptions work best when they're presented in parts and when they're directly related to what is happening. Like, if a character has 6 legs and it allows them to run fast, you can mention it in an instance when characters are running from something and the 6th-legged one is much faster than everyone. That information would stick. But that's not what this book does. I would say this is the case with a lot of the exposition in this book, especially in the beginning. I was confused all the time. And I would say I'm usually reasonably good at following world building info. So if you're someone who has difficulty with it, you might end up DNFing this at the beginning, but don't. I think the story is worth it. I probably still don't know how some aliens look like, but there's a glossary at the end of the book, so it's somewhat helpful. The main highlight of this novel is world building. If you're particularly a fan of interesting worlds, this is probably a good pick for you. The characters are pretty good. I think there's some complexity to their relationships. The plot keeps getting interesting. There are a lot of reveals, but this is not a standalone novel, so it doesn't get wrapped up. But as far as I can see, he writes quite a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if the next book comes out next year. So that's nice to know that the author is a consistent writer. But have you been playing Mass Effect? Do you have any recommendations? If you do, please leave a comment. I'd love to check them out. If you read this one, let me know what you thought about it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like to let me know, and I'll see you next time.
Goose breeze. Goose breeze. Scent. Lilac. Lilac. Goose. 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 Goose breeze. Lilac. Goose. 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 Goose breeze. Lilac. Scent. Goose breeze. Lilac. Lilac. Goose.